Mesdames, Messieurs, bienvenue sur Afrique 24 pour cette nouvelle édition de Décryptage. Il s'appelle Naivaka Rorobalavou Soro Mara, secrétaire général du Forum de développement des Îles du Pacifique, une organisation internationale regroupant 12 États d'Océanie. Créée en 2013, cette organisation promeut la coopération de ces États dans le développement de leur économie vert-bleue, une économie qui mobilise leurs ressources marines dans le cadre du développement durable. Quelle est la principale mission du Forum de développement des Îles du Pacifique?
What that means is that the Pacific Island leaders recognize the need to mainstream green economic principles into their policies. And that is something that we are doing on the Pacific Island Development Forum. We have 12 members and 2 regional organizations, one representing the private sector and the other representing the civil society. So we are very unique in that regard in terms of how we bring together governments and the private sector and civil societies, focusing on this work of how can we develop business application to conservation, climate action, renewable energy, and ocean management.
Quel est l'état des relations que vous entretenez avec le gouvernement, le secteur privé, la société civile dans votre quête commune du développement?
This platform is new in the Pacific Island region. My organization is, for the first time, bringing together governments, the private sector, and the civil society. These 3 sectors do not work well together previously. They have issues of suspicion on, trust issues, for example. But this platform is one that is bringing them together, addressing this issue of cooperation, building partnership. So we have a strong presence of the private sector, for example. And it is important because sometimes government formulates policies without consulting the private sector. And the private sector have to operate in very restrictive legislative framework. In this platform, the private sector and civil society will inform how legislations are formulated and pass that will impact their operation.
S'agissant spécifiquement de la question du changement climatique, quelle est la situation dans les îles du Pacifique?
Well, in the Pacific Islands, we are ground zero in terms of the impact of climate change. Communities have been forced to relocate because their homes and their villages has been inundated with sea level rise. And that is affecting a lot of Pacific Island countries because we are coastal dwellers. Even those of us in Fiji or Papua New Guinea who have big islands, our development model from colonial times up to now has always been coastal based. The big infrastructure, the roads, the towns are all based on the coast. In Fiji's case, we have a huge tourism industry. Again, this is coastal based. And this is the area that's been threatened by climate change and sea level rise. So, the impact is very real to us. We are losing our homes, we are losing our sources of food because global warming is killing the reefs and it's killing the fish. And we are islanders. Our source of protein is from the ocean. And when that food source dries up, it will impact the health of the people.
Les populations de cette région sont-elles suffisamment impliquées dans la lutte contre le changement climatique?
Every day, they are mobilizing themselves in terms of how do they build strong communities. If you were in the conference today, you would hear the ambassador from Kiribati say, we don't want to relocate from our homes. We are going to fight. And the fighting is happening on a daily basis. How they are going to change their lifestyle in order to remain where they are. Yes, they can move, like a few feet from the coast. up the hill, but they don't want to abandon their islands. This is where their ancestors have been buried. This is where they are rooted. So to them, it's going to be a fight to the last man.
Quelle est la place de la coopération dans votre méthode de travail?
This platform is about cooperation. It's about Pacific Islands learning from what Morocco is doing in terms of renewable energy, fisheries, how we can learn from what they are doing here on the African continent, and also how Morocco can assist us from the lessons it has achieved and help us build resilient communities in the Pacific Islands.
Quel est votre niveau de coopération avec le Maroc?
We are discussing the framework of assistance. They've explained about and shared with us the big solar farm that they have here, the big wind farms, the research that they are doing in renewable energy. But for us in the Pacific, we still feel that the cost of renewable energy is still too high. I've just had a meeting with the Minister for Energy a few minutes ago, and I highlighted to him how can Morocco help bring down the cost of renewable energy, solar, wind, so that it becomes affordable for people in the Pacific Islands. Because for now, our size is restricting us. This solar energy and this wind energy, you need like a big farm for it to be profitable. But in the Pacific, we don't need a big farm because our population size is small. So on one island, we may need like probably 10 wind farms. And that economically, is unviable. So that is where we need assistance from, countries like Morocco to help us in research how we can bring down the cost.